I didn't quite get this all situated here, but we're close. And we're not too far behind on the estimated time of which I expected to do this. Let's go ahead and we've got a different setup, hopefully a better setup. That remains to be seen though. I'm hoping that it doesn't come across as all laggy like it had been. So if I go to my channel, it's live. Okay, let's see. We've got a watcher. We've got an ad in front of it. Now, I don't know what button to push to make the ads happen. Subscriber only mode. Only subscribers get to talk. And then can I change that to like, hey, only fans are the ones I get to watch? I just launched my subscriber tiers. We're not going to get into the super chats. We're not going to get too extortiony with you guys. See how this kind of sounds here. Hey, sounds pretty good. So I'm going to set my phone here, and that's going to kind of serve as my chat monitor of sorts. And we can get, I can see the chat from, come on. Do I really need to adjust this up? And I can kind of view the chat as you guys have questions and comments coming in. We'll wait a second for everybody to kind of get situated. If you are watching this after the fact, my apologies, but I am hoping that this is a better stream, that this is actually quality, that the color doesn't look too, it hasn't been corrected. It's raw. It's on the auto mode on the Sony, which, for a camera that kept getting called like so amazing, it was the number one best-selling camera in Japan last year. It sure gets a lot of things wrong. If we're being real, you may have noticed in my videos that sometimes the light behind me turns blue or red, and that's just it auto balancing the white balance. And if you set it on manual modes, everything gets worse. All right, we went up to 3 viewers. Now we're back down to 1. So maybe I should just go ahead and get into the topic at hand here, and you guys can pour in as you like. So LeBron James has decided, really against the will of his podcast co-host, coach of the Lakers, who wanted James Braun, is it Bronny, LeBron Jr.? It actually says Bronny James when I look it up on Yahoo Sports app. Bronny James, the rookie second round pick, the most talked about second round pick possibly in the history of the NBA. A guy who is absolutely not ready for basketball on this level, evidenced by him failing to even get a triple single in the stat line in preseason. It's really abysmal. By far the worst plus minus in all of the preseason. And these are guys largely not the stars playing the bulk of the minutes. These are guys getting their workout, seeing how they're going to be in the NBA. And LeBron James is going to say, you know what? Screw the Lakers organization. I want my moment. I want my damn respect too. He gives that, right? He gives you that. Yo, new to here says, yo, hey, I'm in the middle of my LeBron James rant. Epic rant. Let's crack open a Liquid Death. Oh, shit. Starbucks gift card on the ground. Liquid Death in a friend's, a friend crocheted this. She was actually the star of my short film last week. She crocheted this. So here we go. Oh, you missed the last stream? Well, we've changed things up, gone away from the vertical to the more traditional format. Surely better visuals. Let me know if it's jittery or whatever. If we start getting so I am in part doing this because I have launched subscriptions. Yes, I've started an OnlyFans on YouTube, is how it feels. I feel so dirty. Oh my God. I gotta take like a shower like Ace Ventura. And it's because the affiliate link stuff, I'm getting sales, but the commissions are going down and companies are going in and out of things. And just too many of my revenue streams are having a tough time. So I'm having to look for something else to do here. Looks better, no lag, autofocus blur, but autofocus blur is cool. Yeah. I mean, that's how you know you got a high quality stream, right? When the camera can do that shit. Liquid Death, not sponsored, but hey, let's talk, okay? Because I am getting to where I've got the pre-diabetes stuff. I'm like, oh, hey, my arm's kind of sore or like feels sleepy. How come I can't feel my toes? How come my vision's blurry? It's like check, 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 check. Like pre-diabetes conditions from all the rock stars I'm hammering. So I'm trying to mix things up. LeBron James has decided that everything is about him to the detriment of his own son. His son, Bronny James, is a pawn in the LeBron James hype scheme. And it is shameful. It truly is. The poor kid does not have the flash that one would expect out of a rookie. The rookies are supposed to give us like sensational dunk. Wow, this guy's got so much prospect. He's amazing. And they're so full of themselves. They act like, how one would expect Deion Sanders kids to act, right? That's what you expect out of your like marquee NBA rookies when they're American, at least. I was not really huge on Kobe because he had some of that going for him, but he got to be a bit more restrained. And as he started to try to be more like Michael Jordan, and he talked like him, and he got less aggrandizing. He got less like that. This guy Bronny does not have the alpha mentality. He's not a leader. And look, the problems are there when a plebe like myself, a casual, sees all the mistakes he's making. He clogs the lane. He gets in the way of his dad, like you're working on your dad's construction site. That's Bronny James. It really is grandiose. Hey, let me know if the mic sounds okay or if I need to adjust that. It's like, hey, oh, you need some help? Okay, sorry, I was in the way. Sorry, I'm gonna back out. That's Bronny James at work. He's he's doing the workplace internship thing on the court, and it is tragic. He just seems like such a nice guy, really. Unlike his dad, who just has absorbed. It must have been brutal living in that household with a guy who needs to call himself the GOAT, who has kids born so that they can tell him he's the GOAT. And I'm over here with an itchy jersey. I'm going to wash this afterwards. Quality all around. Okay, good. So he has to live with this for 19 years, and he can't escape. I want to go to the NBA, do my own thing, maybe go in the G League, play some Europe ball. What you can make a lot of money doing that still. A lot more money than people doing real jobs. Instead, nope. This is about me, and I have to do something Jordan never did. Michael Jordan had a son. I forgot his name. Was it Jeffrey? I know Michael Jeffrey Jordan Mill. Was it Jeffrey? Is it the one that was tapping Pippen's ex-wife? He had 3 times as many points scored per game or in a season in college than poor Bronny, who could barely get playing time on a bad team. Bronny, he doesn't have the intangibles. There's no measurement. 6'2". 6'2", can not dribble well. On the pick and roll, he plants his feet, picks up the ball. I don't know who plays a pick and shoot. There's supposed to be like some passing in the game. Instead, he just receives the ball and then passes it right back to a guy for a turnover. The effort to put this guy in the NBA, it's only a thing LeBron James could do. I don't think anybody but LeBron James could do it. And I mean, we have other stars. Kevin Durant couldn't have a kid he can make do this. Steph Curry couldn't do this. LeBron James, who has never heard no in his life, is the guy who can do this. Other people have been counted down. Oh, Steph Curry, does he have the body to play in the NBA? Well, Kevin Durant, he doesn't really do very well at the combine with the workout and the bench press, and he can't bench press the minimum weight. So you wouldn't hear anything like that from LeBron, right? Since this is sports night, I won't have a lot of feedback. I used to watch MMA, but almost all my fighters have retired. So my vision's getting kind of blurry, and I thought you said almost all of them died. Maybe I should get my vision checked. I had been going a good 5 years between that. Now I might do that like in March, have a good 2 year window. I do want to get this sports rant out of the way, and then after that, we can get into the other topics. I don't know a ton about MMA, but we can jump into there. See, LeBron James, I was not high on this guy from the start. Many of you have heard my origin story that I shared in, I think, the first live feed posted on this channel. I unwittingly injured a guy that was beating LeBron James in the slam dunk competition in high school. And then LeBron James was gifted the slam dunk victory. This guy was jumping out of the arena like it was goddamn NBA Jam tournament edition. And LeBron James won because he had to quit because aggravated a middle school injury. And ever since, the thorn in my side, LeBron James is always there to ruin something. And he will leave basketball to ruin something else. In his freshman season, I thought Carmelo Anthony was the more intriguing prospect. I watched Carmelo cook the team I was going to go join the college of in the national title game. He seemed tested. He had like a great mid-range pull-up jumper. But Carmelo just wasn't really hungry in the same way. And I don't think he quite had the ego to match LeBron James. It was Michael Jordan's fans live stream are the best. I kind of wanted to see if he was going to do something on this Bronny situation, but I didn't see anything coming up from him. So I figured, you know what, I'll just say what I was going to say tonight. Because I didn't want to necessarily do a video on it. I wanted it to be more of an unhinged live stream and get some feedback from you guys. Maybe you guys can give me the stats in the comments section. So that rookie year, Carmelo had a better rookie year. And if I'm not mistaken, doesn't LeBron James get rookie of the year anyway? LeBron James had the mindset of, I can form a super team. I can play late GM. And we never really gave Carmelo Anthony his flowers for sticking it out in less than thrilling situations. We even hear now that he was being offered to bounce over there for the Heatles, not 5, not 6, no, just 2, right? 2 finals victories. That he was supposed to be on board with that, but he wanted to actually beat those guys. That's the way one would have proven that they were better. You don't be the GOAT by just recruiting other people. Carmelo, he'll get, the Naismith National Basketball Hall of Fame, International Hall of Fame because of the Olympic record. He had flashes of good scoring, but a very limited game, really. I said he had a good mid-range pull-up jumper, but that's about it. And LeBron James, though, with his special whistle, he can special whistle himself so good now. That if you're going to put LeBron James over Michael Jordan, it has to be because of the special whistle. If LeBron James is criticized, he will get you escorted out of the arena. To the best of my knowledge, I've never seen Michael Jordan pull a move like that. Oh, Spike Lee, you want to give me something? Hey, get him out of here. Never happened, right? I enjoyed one game of women's hockey. We're going to get into women's sports in a second. After that, it lost its luster. I didn't even know women's hockey, field hockey. I got some shit to say about women's hockey. Remind me here. Caitlin Clark goes her whole rookie year, the brightest spot in the WNBA. League attendance is up. Attendance for her games. I think the merchandise was up like 1,500%. Places she plays at, it's well over 200% increase in attendance. Double the views on the games. As far as I'm concerned, the WNBA finals ended when the Fever exited. I'm wearing an authentic Nike jersey from the Oklahoma City Thunder City Edition last season. You cannot buy an authentic Caitlin Clark jersey. I've looked. Believe me, they won't sell you one. They probably made 2, gave them to Caitlin Clark. You can't get them. They're swing men. Except that they probably don't swing women. I don't know. It's not the same category. She has a shoe deal with Nike. Everybody's like, wow, a rookie. She's got her shoe. This is kind of like Michael Jordan. Doesn't get a shoe. She has to wear Kobe prototypes. Why? Oh, well, she got player exclusive Kobe's. That's good enough. Is it so that Asia Wilson doesn't have a fit? Miss, oh well, she recognizes she got here. She says this over to that one slutty girl in Las Vegas who has the good arm that throws it, Plum, whose husband left her. Anyway, she kind of looks like a chipmunk. She's telling her like, oh yeah, this girl over here. Not talking about Caitlin Clark, but somebody else. I think Paige Buckers. She's saying like she's white. She knows her privilege got her this far. As if to instigate the kind of like Caitlin Clark doesn't realize her privilege is how far it had a role. The hell it did. If anything, being the Catholic upraised white girl that's 6 feet tall in the WNBA that's straight is a detriment because it is just a league of bully lesbians. And as soon as the Saudis figure this shit out, that there's a market for Caitlin Clark, they'll make a league around her. They'll try to do the live golf thing, which I thought was kind of brilliant. And I don't have a problem with live golf. What? The Saudis, like, they killed a journalist, you know, and the king of the prince, he actually had something to do with it. He maybe sawed the guy's head off in the embassy. Our government does all kinds of bad shit, and yet they're looked at as the bad guys here. I'm all for our American sports spreading unity elsewhere. I had never thought it was a bad idea for Dennis Rodman to go to North Korea. I said it. Diplomacy through sports. You bring Dennis Rodman in. Hey, I don't care if they're paying him a ton of money or not. Diplomacy through sports. You get their people to see the sports and crave more Western culture. That's how you end up winning over. It doesn't have to be violent regime change. You bring WWE to that crown jewel. Isn't that in Saudi Arabia? Oh, well, you can't talk about it. We don't even like to cover it on our podcast because, we're certain types of people and we have problems with Arabs. Nope, don't have a problem with it at all. Hell, Goldberg seems to be a mainstay in it, right? Don't have a problem with the Western culture bringing diplomacy. And then you get the fast food coming in. And what do you know? The next thing you know, they're on Xbox Live. That's how you win over the people. But if you say anything good or you try to work a business deal over there, he's taking money from the Saudis. You can't trust them, right? Oh man, CP says I can't wait to see the honest, raw, real autobiography. It will never happen. LeBron James has mobbed up the NBA, Nike, and in the media covering the NBA. Very, very seldom can you get an honest take on ESPN. And I know that I talk to you guys about the grifters on YouTube. They just say what you want to hear, right? In the sports realm, you absolutely do not get a cable channel, an over-the-air channel, a radio channel that gives the pushback to LeBron James. It doesn't happen. He will find a way to make sure that you're not allowed to talk. Michelle Beadle over at ESPN said something critical of him. Excised from ESPN. And I know she said something stupid like a month ago, but that's aside from the fact. Once you've had your career ruined, you're probably going to say a lot of dumb shit, right? Through his mob of Clutch Sports, he has signed players on who have like a blood feud against him. Then Draymond Green. Oh, then sign him through to Clutch. Okay, now that you're on the payroll, I guess you're in the family now. Oh yeah, he's the GOAT. Yeah, everybody has to bend the knee, say LeBron James is the GOAT. We have to support the sports channels that give you the facts from the games beyond what is even said. We know they're lying about the stats. LeBron James passes the ball, the other guy passes it, and LeBron James gets the assist now. So we know the stats aren't true. We know that the way the players are talked about during the games is not accurate. So you have to turn to guys like, oh shit, I mentioned him the other week in my video about the channels I like. Uncut Hoops, right? Does a good job breaking down things. There's a number of people that will actually break down the game film. Angry Old Hoops fan, awful coaching. I've seen some of his stuff about. I mean, the way this guy talks about things, maybe he should be coaching in some capacity. But yeah, we have ruined the integrity of the NBA, the competitive balance. We see the All Star game has become an absolute joke, to the point that they frankly shouldn't have it anymore. Maybe just have the dunk contest and 3 point, wheel out some WNBA girls to do the logo threes, whatever, right? Something like that. Uh, is there anything more I can say about LeBron James here? I keep losing train of thought because it's kind of like a J.J. Abrams Star Wars movie where it's like, hold on, I was thinking about one thing, but then this happened over here. Ooh, shiny, like something like that. That's kind of the way it feels. Uh, we're going to go ahead and end the LeBron James rant with a little bit of dusting of smoke. Okay, I want to say something about hockey. Seattle Kraken brought in a female. Oh shit! One more thing in LeBron James, and this is a media thing. Take note of this, okay? Take note, guys. I want you, whenever you hear makes history, that is an outcome the media wanted. Okay. LeBron James makes history, first father son duo to play an NBA game together preseason. In preseason, really, that's a makes history. Whenever they use makes history, it's an outcome they want. If and when Donald Trump wins the election, the headlines will not read makes history as the first president to serve unconsecutive terms since so and so. I hate the since in makes history. You either made history as the first or you didn't. Denzel Washington makes history as the first African American to win the Oscar since Sidney Poitier. No, Sidney Poitier made the history. But they will give you the makes history, and that is their way of saying this is the approved result. So hold on, I've got messages coming on Instagram. Jesus. I hate it when supermodels hit you up when you're doing a live stream, right? So Seattle Kraken make history by hiring a full-time female assistant coach, which tells me there must be a trainer on staff or a gets the towel girl or something that isn't going to be considered full-time. And I want you guys to, if you can, take a look at that interview this girl gave. She's 32, not too bad looking. There will be problems on the team. Let's just leave it at that. But take a look at the interview she gives, and oh, hey, so you're breaking glass ceiling. You're the first female coach in the NHL, and did I say NFL earlier? But I don't feel like I said NHL today. And how does it feel? And she says something to the tune of, "Well, I don't expect to be. I don't plan on being the last, and it's so great to break the glass ceiling." Set a shining example for all little girls that are hockey fans out there that one day they can aspire blood it. Think about how that interview would have been answered in the 90s. Hey, I'm just a coach out here doing the best I can for the game I love. We go out there, I give my best just like anybody else, and they give me the respect if I earn it. That is how people in the 90s talked. And instead, we are in worst timeline over here where everyone has to talk about speaking their truth bullshit. I feel like I've overdosed on crazy pills. Am I not wrong here? Scratch, I just looked up women's football. I think I put my foot in my mouth with the earlier comment. Okay. Women's rugby looks good though. Okay. So the hockey, you weren't even talking about hockey, but I had something to say about hockey. Whatever happened to, I'm just going to be hey, I'm just an individual and I'm trying to do my job here. Instead, it's, I'm saying something so that when I sue the Seattle Kraken for wrongful termination, right, for $100 million, it's going to happen. Sexual assault, whatever. It's going to happen. I'm going to say this stuff over here. I'm just a bright, shining beacon of hope in a DEI world over here. Aspiring young women. Oh no, this guy touched my butt and it was awful, and I have to talk on 60 Minutes. I need a book deal. I need a lawyer. Get Gloria Allred over here or her hot daughter. It will happen. Why bother hiring any of these people after that happens, right? You know, I think it was China or Japan, possibly Japan, that had a female emperor once. That's all I need to tell you about that story. Christ. I don't have a button hit over here to clip stuff anymore. I moved my computer over here to kind of be an arm's length. Let's see if I hit the 100, what does that do? No idea. I can't read that. Anyway, we've got laughing in the chat, whatever. NBA is totally beyond saving now. It really is. The NBA, the WNBA could potentially have more local support than the NBA, which has gone way too global. The WNBA stars are still American. The NBA stars are not American for long. You got Goose over there in Minnesota, and that's probably about it. Unless we're really going to try really, really hard to make Bronny James a star. I don't think you can do that. LeBron James had enough in him that they could force him into being a star. Hey, you know, you're kind of heavy. If you just run through guys, we'll just not blow the whistle on that. Okay, cool. I can do that for 20 years. That's really about the way it goes. Okay, yep, yeah. So was it China? Was it China that had the female emperor? And then they were like, you know what? Maybe not. I remember that in a Asian some kind of class in college, whatever. It wasn't a film class, but it was something else. The world is very crazy right now. I need to give you guys some incentives to sign up. I posted a message saying, "Hey, I think I'm kind of new to this. I'm not a girl, so probably got it wrong. But if you sign up, you see a special post. Not that I'm promising a lot of special posts or anything, um, or that there is a way for me to turn this on so that I can only see the members. Yeah, I've got top messages, all messages. What can I do here? Fan funding, nothing said there. So we're not doing, it's not going to be strictly fan funding messages just yet, but we'll have to get there at some point. In fact, I think I may have hit something where you can only chat if you are a subscriber. And then I couldn't find out how to turn that off. And then it said something like you had to be a subscriber for 5 minutes to chat. So everything's crazy. The NBA is so international in a sense that I think that the domestic product isn't appealing. It's not appealing to the people in the country in which it's supposedly played. Let's put it that way. The WNBA is, but the WNBA is fragile. It doesn't make money, and it doesn't have enough goodwill built up around it for it to be a tradition of any kind. So somebody could jump in and make a WNBA competitor that would just, the top recruits would go over there, the people that want like their revenue share, all that stuff, they would just feed into the new organization for sure. It would go down similarly like that. Pretty sure of it. And the NFL is strong for right now. It kind of benefits from being the most watchable, least woke, but fast enough action sport going on live TV. Because as of right now, we need something to put on live TV so that these TV companies can stay in business in some way. They have to have something brand new. Sports are perpetual. You have new guys coming in. It seems as though they've taken enough of the right steps with the helmets to not scare away all the white women's kids from being in football just yet. we'll get maybe another generation out of it, especially with the paychecks they're pulling down. The paychecks, the marketing potential for not even being that great. And like I've said before, there's only one Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. So whatever contract he signed should be the very top. If he's the very best player or the very best QB, why are other QBs getting paid more? And then he goes and has a season like he's having now with the worst 5-0 team in the history of the NFL. The Chiefs win games by virtue of the referees. Patrick Mahomes' stats trail those of Trevor Lawrence, a guy that everybody is now no longer shy to call a bust. I don't understand this shit. Patrick Mahomes is like 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions on the season in 5 games, and they're winning. And in part of it, it's because they can't practice for shit now. You can't learn convoluted schemes. Everybody's just kind of running in there and winging it like it's some kind of back alley game at this point. And quarterbacks are doing good based on their intangibles, their raw speed, their athleticism. Okay, I just described black quarterbacks. I'm sorry. And that's how they're winning games now, because nobody's got their schemes together. So the NFL, if they don't reel back some and go, hey, we got to get back to getting a better product out on the field, because right now this product is bad. And when people start to realize, they're not as good as they used to be, they'll find something else to do. If only thing on TV or not be damned. The college football game is a complete farce. NIL has effectively killed college sports. There's almost no interest in basketball at this point. Caitlin Clark left, so who's going to watch the girls' game, right? People were seemed to be more interested in the girls' game last year than the men's basketball. But now we have musical chairs happening with all the schools trying to go to the super conferences. Now we have a Power 4, used to have a Power 5. The Pac-12 has 2 teams in it this year. Not that I like the Pac-12, but they've ruined that in the sake of we have to go look for more money. We have to cut better TV deals. Stupid Governor Laura Kelly here in Kansas worked a deal out where the Kansas Jayhawks never get to be on television. So you have to get ESPN Plus to watch them. They finally look like they're going to have a good year. They're going to be ranked in the preseason. Drop a bomb. Win one game. They're probably looking at L's for the rest of the year. Kind of serves them right, frankly. We have players. QB at UNLV off to a good start. Gets them ranked. They beat Kansas. They beat a ranked team. I think they beat Kansas to become ranked. You guys aren't paying me enough. I'm not getting the NIL deal. I'm coming up 90,000 short of this month. So I'm going to go declare red shirt, test the market. The NIL situation, it's so much worse than in actual pro sports because they haven't really worked this out. There's too many players and not enough agents, apparently. The schools can't pay these kids directly. And that creates a weird circumstance where it's like we indirectly put together this coven of witches who will pay you this if you appear in these car commercials for the local dealership. It's very bizarre. The kids are more money focused. They're going to be sitting out bowl games. They're going to be certainly sitting out bowl games. Certainly. Because it wasn't in their contract they had to be in them. And they're guys, please do not bet on college football this year, especially when it gets to bowl season. There is no telling what kind of dive, what kind of sit out will even happen in the playoff. It's going to be a complete disaster. And they've let the genie out of the bottle. I know genies are in a lamp. And they're not going to ever go back to, well, your reward is the education. They're never going to go back to that. And when people see how upfront and douchey these players are, they're going to tune out. Oh, I went to that school. Eventually, you'll quit watching, and then eventually, your kids, their grandkids, they'll quit going to a school to have to feel like they have to root for in sports, and we will watch the downfall, the glorious downfall in a few decades of the college system. They no longer have the money coming in from the athletics because Americans aren't going there anymore. So screw it. Or we fill their country up with immigrants who aren't going to the colleges. These are things that can happen. NFL did take the knee, did take the knee, BLM BS. What are you talking about? Not woke. How many of them fly the? They're like on the least woke edge of things. They don't have a gays night at the Chiefs quite like they'll pull off in the MLB. They're doing that shit in the NHL to try to appeal to a wider audience. Let's get the fighting out of there. Let's get the women coaches in. Let's have our themed nights and our themed jerseys. And it's not working for shit. The NFL still has the stupid crap on their helmet, like cops are bad or whatever, or hands up, don't shoot, or she swung first. They get that shit on the back of the helmet. The end zone says end violence, end gun violence or something, or what. It's a bunch of garbage and it'll fade away in time. It does get to be a little worrisome when too many of the commercials are about hey man, tell me about the plight of the black quarterback. Check out the black quarterback struggle on some streaming network after the game. And it's like, oh my God. So the NFL, once you get to seeing too many of those of the woke ad tie-ins and we're in this together if you're a black guy or whatever their campaign they've got going, you start to go, I can just look at my phone during the commercial break or casually watch the game, or I'll play Street Fighter 6 while I'm watching the game on another screen. And the ratings may not actually be as high as they're telling us because they count the ratings different. Now they're counting the bars for like the capacity of the bar now, of which whatever is being shown in it, so that they can inflate these numbers so that they can still get the good ad rates. Whereas people, and sadly, I'm not going to dip to making TikTok content, but if 50%, supposedly like 50% of young people like get most of their time on TikTok, and if that's where the advertisement is, and that's where you can get people to pay you money or whatever to make the stupid videos, that's where the eyes are. That's where all the effort's going to be put. Not in my case, but kids can't sit down to watch these sports anymore, so we have to have dancing in them. Here's an opportunity to dance. I sacked the QB. Everybody dance. Everybody come gather together. Let's do our Fortnite dance together. That little stuff is a huge turnoff to like the core audience, the football fan. It has to be, right? You're watching it and you're going, am I watching a football game or a dance competition? Because this is insane. It doesn't feel like the game you recognize. We used to have kind of like rock songs playing in the stadium, or traditional NFL films score in the ads, and now it's just hip hop. Hip hop, buy the apparel over here. Hip hop, buy all this stuff so you can look like a Chiefs fan, which seems weird for you to be invested in people that don't have any idea what your name is. And so these players happen to get paid a bunch of money to play half their games in your city, so you should feel obligated to wear all their shit. And let's just fill that up with hip hop. There's so much abrasive hip hop happening. I cringe for my mom when I see her, like, if she's got like the TV on and in the kitchen cooking, and then you got no flex zone in the Buffalo Wild, is it, or Wingstop? I think it's Wingstop ad. And it's like, what did you things that wouldn't fly in the grocery store to be played on the speakers there are now filling up like the ad space, all the commercial breaks, and it's just hip hop all the way through. And then we have like a country star to do something else, and that's where we are now. I mean, I feel alienated, and I'm not old enough to be alienated by this. CP says, "Is the attention span issue really that bad?" I think it is. I think that, as I've kind of mentioned here before, and I guess we're segueing into the movie portion of our discussion, should I open a Baby Ruth or not? Or is that a little too messy? Let me know. You can't get kids to watch movies. I am no longer convinced that Avengers Endgame made the money it supposedly did. Hear me out. You had to lie to get Captain Marvel over a billion. There's no Captain Marvel made $1 billion like Joe Biden got 80 million votes. You're telling me that many people paid money to see this movie? Seriously. Because I'm not buying that shit. And then you have to keep that going. We can't just have the last of our classic Avengers films not make as much money as the previous lackluster one or the lackluster Captain Marvel. Oh no, it's got to be like the biggest movie of all time. This is the movie designed to eclipse Avatar. So we're going to run up the pre-sale numbers so that it makes like $1 billion before it's even released. And that way, everybody will know it's such a cultural touchstone that they have to go see it in theaters, which I didn't. And I'm not really sure that many people did. And I know the prices, the ticket prices are insane now. And it is similar to what they've done with cable television. Hey, as more people leave, we jack the price up, not giving incentive for anybody to get in on cable at the new low price. Hey, cable got cheaper. You should come check it out. Nope, screw that shit. The people that are addicted to it or can't handle going with a smart TV and getting all the streaming apps, and well, they don't have a grandson to hook them up with how to run these apps and sign in and use the internet and all that shit. Screw those people. Let's just charge them 10 times as much and make up for the difference here. That's kind of what they've done with the movie theater. Is, hey, it's going to be $30 to see a movie now. Yeah, there are less people going, but ultimately we make about the same money, if not more. And I think that all that long form content is boomer media. The podcasts might not be boomer media simply because you can have it on while you're doing something else. The podcast, though not a screen, it is like the ultimate in second screen. It's like the end boss for second screen content because there are too many things going on now where you try to pitch an idea for, like, and I'm not sure if Netflix does this, but I think they do. You may have like an animated program or whatever, and they pass on it because they say it wasn't second screen enough, because it needed to have qualities where it could be simply listened to occasionally and not have too convoluted of a plot or difficult to discern plot elements that you had to like tune in and actually keep an eye on what was happening or understand that characters were lying to each other. None of that shit. It's got to be like upfront and stupid, and you check in on it, and it's second screen. The podcast benefit by being the ultimate second screen. You put the podcast on, and you go and you wash your car. You don't have to watch anything. I have no idea why so many of these dumbasses in the podcast space have to have a video podcast now. Unless you really have examples and clips of videos to show people, I don't think I need to see it. On very seldom occasions do any of these shows seem to be produced in a way in which they play video, in which I feel like I should have been sitting down to watch LeBron James not make a dunk, right? So when I set out, and I know this is very much more of the podcast thing, but it's like you have to be on YouTube to have anybody watch. I've been putting out a podcast with my mom for over a year. I don't think we have any subscribers whatsoever. Even my mom has a podcast. She went out of town. We were going to have a podcast. She might do one tomorrow. So check that out. But if you don't have the platform that's set up where you have a somewhat of a base, it's hard to say what I have as a base anyway. I sure seem to be gaining a lot of subs. They don't really seem to be watching any of the videos. I don't understand it. But when I make a video, I want to have some visual elements. And I think that in part, the freedom you have to get the better video quality from movies that are dropping on a streaming platform like Netflix versus what you saw in a theater. What can you do reviewing Captain America Brave New World? Is that what it's called? You can't get all the good clips unless you pirate shit, I guess, and maybe that can be used against you. But if it was on Disney Plus, well, now you can get the good clips to put in your video. You have your, the popular long form dissertation. You got, and they call them commentaries. 45, you got to have a 45-minute video breaking down Deadpool and Wolverine, or no one's going to watch because nobody checks in to watch short little videos about should you watch a movie? Is it recommended or not? Because we all have access to all the same media now. We no longer really need the recommendations, even in games. You can't recommend a game to anybody. You can't recommend the DLC because they already bought it. They're watching the video because they bought it already. It's kind of the way it goes down, right? Long form content will become a niche at this rate. In a sense, yes, but it's weird that YouTube actually thinks of long form content as the regular upload, and the shorts, which have now been expanded to 3 minutes, that's the short form content. For the past month, and I'm not supposed to talk about this, so I'll be vague about it. I've been doing a study with YouTube, and I've been doing like all these surveys and filling things out, and about not just like what kind of stuff you do, but they're trying to implement some AI in here in some capacity. And it seems like what they have is a decent idea. And it appears from the feedback I've gotten from the people running the study that I'm not just some ordinary guy that they came across, that I know my stuff. So they've been keeping an eye on me. So I got to be pretty careful about what I'm saying here. But there could be some interesting AI integrations with YouTube. And I think that it'll mostly, at this point, kind of help the budding, aspiring YouTuber more so than the seasoned veteran. So we'll see if that comes about. Then maybe I'm allowed to talk about it if the thing actually launches. But you know how Google does stuff. They also like to close things secretly. Remember, you probably don't even remember Google Wave. That lasted a week where you could see people type. It was like a chat thing, but you saw people type in real time. And what you ended up getting was a lot of people deleting their words that were misspelled. If you look at the earlier movies, a lot of them were only 1 hour. So that, I'm not allowed to talk about this. Not allowed to bring up the movie that, uh, for all intents and purposes, created the feature form length. A feature is actually an hour plus. There are not bad movies that can maybe be like under 90 minutes, but there is a movie that you're not supposed to admire. And it revolutionized the scene, and directed by a guy who went by some initials. Okay, real talk. How are we going to save the world from this hot stinking mess? I think indifference will be our strength. How about that? Indifference is our strength. I gotta get. Hey Siri, make a note. Indifference is our strength. T-shirt. You. Indifference is our strength. I'm getting the shirt. We are being told by the media to care about certain things. Oh, why is this paused? Come on. We're being told to care about certain things way more than we should be concerned about. We're not designed for a 24/7 news feed. And we're not designed to always be checking to see if our name got Googled or whatever, or what's the latest with Taylor Swift, or what does she care about, or does she like strawberries, any of that shit. If we can be indifferent and just focus on ourselves in our own situations, we could all really benefit from that. That is how we get closer to the 90s, where people were more concerned about what was going on in their neighborhood than, oh, well, that guy over there, they voted a certain way, so we have to move the All-Star game from their place to Saudi Arabia, where they're way more into civil rights, right? We have that kind of hypocrisy going, and we have to talk about the news that comes out of these other things. We have to react to all this garbage. We got to react to get views. We got to go live stream Hurricane Milton to get views. If more of us were just like, screw that, that's stupid, I'm not watching, block that guy, I never want to hear from him again. Instead, what we get is the people that make all the faces. What? Huh? They made a Polygon style Air Force One? Huh? That's those stupid reaction faces get all the clicks, and that leads to more people doing the same stuff. And it's abysmal. It's ruined everything, hasn't it? Wes Anderson versus Tarantino. I don't like Anderson, to be honest. Shit. I don't like either of them. It's kind of like, when was the last time they made a movie you like? In Wes Anderson's case, it's almost like Final Fantasy, where it's like the first movie you saw is your favorite. Everyone's favorite Final Fantasy is their first one because that's the one that introduced them to this like sprawling epic. And so it's for many my age, it seemed like Final Fantasy VII was the first we came across. But then you'll swear people who like Final Fantasy III. Yes, I know it goes by Final Fantasy VI now because it's actually the Japanese number. Okay, but anyway, everybody's favorite Final Fantasy is the first one they played. Your favorite Wes Anderson film is probably the first one you watched. I don't like his shtick of, we have to present everything like some kind of weird hipster stage drama. Everybody must stand facing straight into the camera at all times. The camera can't be too terribly dynamic. Special effects are purposely schlocky and unrealistic, but that gives them charm. Just compared to what everybody else is doing, you might like that for a movie or two when it comes down to it. I think with Quentin Tarantino, you get a similar thing going here, where this is a guy who thinks he can do anything. And I really should do a video on this about how I'm convinced Quentin Tarantino purposely set out to make a pro-Nazi movie that would get Oscars. He has said weird shit before where he'd like to have like a movie premiere and only invite Crips and Bloods, and they're about to square off, but then the movie starts. Is everybody going to sit down and watch the movie? You're forced to see the Tarantino movie. Surely you're going to sit down and watch. What's going to happen? In that same kind of weird movie experiment idea, he's like, hey guys, I bet you, and I almost did a Quentin Tarantino impression there, and it didn't sound bad, but I didn't anticipate doing it, so I'm not going to do it. But maybe I'll work on it. Hey, guys, I bet you I can make a pro-Nazi movie that wins an Oscar. And how do you do that? With Inglorious Bastards, right? Like, you have this guy who's being called a Nazi, but he's actually a German army war hero, and he ends up in the Avengers stuff. Isn't he in the new Thunderbolt, or the actor, but whatever? And he seems rather sympathetic for a Nazi. And then you have all the revenge on the evil Nazis happening in this, but it's done in such a way that you feel kind of sorry for them, and that's not the good way to approach this. And so he underhandedly made a movie in which the Nazis look more human than portrayed in other films, and got Oscars for it. He snuck one past all of those certain group of people that do the voting. He snuck one past them. I would also say that the best Quentin Tarantino film is Pulp Fiction, though I do like Reservoir Dogs, and there are things I like about Kill Bill 1 and 2, but they're really not good movies in of themselves. And meeting up with fellow Gonzo filmmaking. Oh shit, what's his name? The Spy Kids guy. You know what I'm talking about here. Rodriguez. Once the two of them got together and said, "Hey, don't you just love the '70s and grindhouse schlock? Yeah, let's make more of that sort of stuff because nobody else is anymore." They poisoned each other, is what they did. So the only Tarantino movie I like. How do we tell how long the stream is now? I don't have a timer now telling me when I should wrap this up like I used to. The stream used to have a. Oh, I can see over there. Okay, so we got about another 30 minutes. If we're going to hit about 90 minutes, right? But I have to look over there to see it. Get more of those thumbs up going. I can't see the thumbs up on this screen, but I've got my computer over here. I can see the thumbs up on it. And it says not enough thumbs up. Where was I? I haven't seen Jackie Brown. I'm sure I'll get to it at some point. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of those kind of movies where I need to make a tier list of movies you wish you could re-review. I have to stick by my star assessment, but there are films that I think may have actually snuck past me in regard to what their intentions were and what was the final product and just what you heard about it in influencing how you ultimately judged it. And the shameful part is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes out late enough in my career at this that I damn well knew better. And yet I kind of fall for it. I'm like, you know what? I liked it. 3 out of 4 stars. At least I didn't say I loved it or some shit. I didn't say it's Predator. But that movie, it's very much a weird self-indulgent trip for Quentin Tarantino. Things don't make any sense. Hey, let's try to at the end have an Evil Dead spoof fight for the hell of it. One of these killer cult gals is in a swimming pool. Oh, but I've got my flamethrower from my Nazi killing movie. They let me keep that prop, functioning flamethrower. I'll just light her up in a swimming pool. The place that is safest from a flamethrower is where she gets burned to death. For our weird alternate history, wouldn't it be cool if we had a guy that was actually tougher than Bruce Lee? And we had a guy over here who could be like arrogant Bruce Lee and we can get his ass kicked so that it makes my character look better? Yeah. I was entertaining the possibility of doing a Prey commentary. I don't think I have time tonight. I might, but doing a Prey commentary and thinking that that's on that list of movies that I kind of regret, giving 3 out of 4 stars in ways because doesn't it ultimately just become a feminist power trip? How it's like, hey, I'm the last one and I beat the predator, me and my dog, and all the men got killed, even though they didn't do anything particularly arrogant or foolish. They just happened to get hit with the blaster thing and I didn't. But at any rate, I'm new hunter around here and the women are in charge of this tribe now. Go back to weaving blankets, men. That's the kind of message you get at the end, right? And why does the predator have the capabilities to come to Earth with advanced uh, inner system travel, if not across the galaxy, but it doesn't have its laser blaster yet. Instead, it's going to fire like bolts or something. It doesn't have that technology yet, but it has the space travel down. Even though the scene in which we saw played out, though it could have been in someone's imagination in Alien versus Predator, on top of the pyramid, the predators have all their regular shit, and that takes place way before Prey does. And they had all their full kit of stuff, and they had all their advanced weapons and shit in the pyramid. When did they leave them in the pyramid? Probably before Prey takes place. Kill Bill 2 was good. Didn't like part 1, go figure. I actually thought Kill Bill volume 2, is it, had the better story. Part 1 it was too hard to take it seriously. It did things that were just gross for gross sake too. Like, does the bride need to be raped by Buck, or or strongly inferred that she's being raped while in a coma, just for the gross of grossness? Uh, but it had some interesting moments, like, hey, we're gonna have a big fight, but the school bus just drove by my kid's home. So what are we gonna do? We have to save face. That's kind of cute. But Kill Bill Volume 2 didn't have the good fight scenes in it, whereas the first one does. But it's got the story, and it seems like there's some payoff. So I thought that it had the better story. And in general, when things are split into this part one, part two crap, people tend to like part two better. You feel cheated by the way part one ends, like every time, right? You can always do a second review. It's just being honest. Now you can't I'm not programmed to second review. Other movies that would be up for debate on the second review: Star Trek 2009, and I need to make a list here, but I don't have any capability to write a list right now. Shit. Can I pull up something? No, that's not really going to work. Star Trek 2009. Before you understood how J.J. Abrams operates and how he basically constructs a movie to have plot holes that you don't have time to pay attention to before being introduced to the next plot hole, it looked entertaining enough in theaters. It has a nice shine to it, and it distracts you from vapidness. And even as seeing it in 2009, I thought, that's about the dumbest movie I ever liked. There's a lot of dumb shit happening, a lot of unexplained, a lot of never will be explained, a lot of hoping you didn't pick up on how dumb it is, but it sure seemed exciting. Prey is exactly that. Use Siri again for your list. It won't work. It was interrupting shit because even on here, you can't make a note, but you can add to a list of things. But then it comes up as like a to do warning deal. I don't know if you guys saw, but Nintendo secretly launched an alarm clock that has some fairly genius features. It encourages you to get out of bed, and that's how it gets turned off, because it has sensors that are scanning you while you're sleeping. Not scary. And it it's like, here's how many times you tossed and turned or whatever, and as you're waking up, it makes like Mario collecting coin sounds, ching 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 ching. And then when you stand up, it gives like a big whistle or something. Well, at least you have it saved on video. If I want to watch this again, I got to scroll through just to get to the part about the movies I would re-review if I could. And I'm trying to think. There has to be at least 5, I would think. There has to be a handful, right? Star Trek '09, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Prey. I mean, these are movies that, as you think about it, you start to understand what they were going for in an underhanded way, and then they kind of snuck it past you, is kind of the way one can look at this. But I may watch Prey again after the stream and watch it in Comanche with the subtitles, where I feel like it's going to be a better experience because you pick up too much modern accent out of the talent in English. So there's that. Let's time 103ish. Yeah, I see that over there. I'm gonna open up a Baby Ruth. I've been eating mostly Baby Ruths for the past day. I don't know why. I've been looking for a Spirit Halloween. You know something? It's just less messy if you eat it all at once instead of having the crumbs get all over your giddy jersey. I don't have a Spirit Halloween that close to me. So obviously the smoke, I'm gonna put that in the Halloween candy bowl. The Halloween candy bowl is going to be my Alien Romulus face hugger popcorn tin. And I've been weighing hooking up some kind of system and strings to the legs on the face hugger so that it's kind of like moving and scaring little girls. I didn't have enough viewers to chase away with the smoke. Now, likewise, I don't want to be recognized by anybody from high school, so I should get a mask. Though we've made great improvements with mask technology, not affordably, we haven't, but I'm curious what they have, what I could put on. But I also at the same time know that most of my trick or treaters, if we're following the formula, we will have maybe one Captain America, an Incredible Hulk, a Spider-Man, a bunch of Sonic the Hedgehogs, maybe a Master Chief, but largely princesses. It is princess night. It really is. Jason or Michael Jackson, good idea. Now I know you meant Michael Myers. The Jason thing is easy to do, that's for sure. The Michael Myers one, that's simple enough also, but then well, I mean, I say easy, but here's the problem. Even if you do Freddy Krueger, you have to have the glove, you have to have the sweater. No one ever gets the makeup hands. He has some exposed, burned hands, and no one ever goes that far with it. Zombie, I mean, I could spill some blood on my face in some way, fake blood I made decades ago. But I don't know. It kind of it runs, makes a mess. I may think of something. Every time I try to do something, it's too scary for the little princesses in the neighborhood. Like one year, I was Brandon Lee from The Crow, and that scared the shit out of them. I mean, it just doesn't work. So I'm gonna look and see what they have. Maybe there's a mask that isn't necessarily too scary, but is on theme or something. I'll run it by you guys. Zombie or Dracula. In my childhood, I was largely a pirate or a ninja, but I think I may have been a Dracula once or twice. Could I fit in that vest? God, no. I had a little vest, black vest, and I was Dracula. And that is Jesus from like 93 vest. Yeah, it ain't happening. We're an adult diaper and get a rubber chicken. What does an adult diaper and a rubber chicken make me? And drool some? I'm trying to think who this would be. I mean, I watched the 2009 Friday the 13th the other day, but I should have read the booklet that it mentioned something about the restoration of a 2009 movie because it came with some literature. And I think I'm going to have to do a video on this later about it. But I also have other physical media coming in. And I think I might be able to reach over here and show you something. I want to make sure I don't have any chocolate on my hand here. All right. Well, I moved this, didn't I? Ah, hell. Okay, so I only have the slip cover, but there we go, Beastmaster. Beastmaster limited edition. There's actually this is the less limited edition with the slip cover. The out of print one, and this one's low print right now, low stock. It had like a book and like some papers in there, whatever, saying something. But Beastmaster in 4K, that's a trip. A strange trip. They couldn't get the original negative it's been lost to time. And so they kind of gone for what's the closest to like a first generation print. And the colors do look kind of weird, but that's kind of an odd quirk with the movie. And this is actually from who is this? Oh, Vinegar Syndrome. I don't think I mentioned them in my video about all the crazy media shit going on right now. That Beastmaster, but I've got also ordered on eBay. I found a guy on eBay who gave a 20% off and free shipping. I got Cannonball 1 or Cannonball Run Part 1, the first one. Les Samurai Criterion Collection 4K. A movie from 1984 called God damn it, Siri. Called Special Effects with the guy who I think he's on Law and Order Victims Unit. He was the villain in Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. And also, what was the other movie? Dark Star, the first film directed by, God's sake, the guy who did Halloween and The Thing, and I can't remember, John Carpenter. And here's the way I feel about this. By the time these get to me, John Carpenter is going to be dead. I'm feeling it right now. Because it's like I was thinking about them, and they postponed the shipping. I'm going to probably get these at the end of next week, and he's going to be dead. So mark your words. Wasn't there a Beastmaster ripoff? See, people believe that the Beastmaster is the ripoff of Conan the Barbarian. The Beastmaster is the hardest PG you have ever seen. There isn't a heap of blood, but there is some gross, bad shit, lots of boobies, genocide, all kinds of crazy shit happening with animals. Rated PG in 1982. It was made about the same time as Conan the Barbarian, so it wasn't so much of a let's copy Conan the Barbarian in like the way of maybe Deathstalker. And you end up with a heap of sword fantasy movies trying to piggyback off of Conan the Barbarian. The Beastmaster, I think, was a mild hit, and I think I shot a short about this, so I'll go ahead and say it here. But I probably said it before in a live. Used to play on TBS, TNT all the time in like the 90s. And then about 2001, I think it was, Jane Fonda divorced Ted Turner. And on The Tonight Show, Jay Leno quipped, "Hey, Kev, yeah, did you hear Jane Fonda was leaving Ted Turner? Yeah, I guess she got tired of watching The Beastmaster." I'm pretty sure I talked about this even last week, honestly. And then like Kevin's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Oh, it's a stupid movie. It's on all the time." From that point forward, was never on TV again. In fact, despite starting with the appropriately enough the MGM lion logo roaring, they had to release this through Vinegar Syndrome. Third party. What kind of rights can we get to it? They have about 700 available left. Not all that many. And then with the way these prints go, once that's out on 4K, good luck finding it again, right? There's not a lot of repeat printings of 4K, right? The worm thing in the brain. Nope, you didn't mention this I thought I did. I know I recorded the stream, the short already. So I feel like I probably said it before in front of this camera, and that's why I feel like I said it before. But that's a true story. I cannot find the clip of Jay Leno saying that. I swear to God it happened. I also it's not easy to go through and find the things that happen on the Tonight Show if they don't involve a celebrity interview. But I swear to you, Kurt Russell was so ashamed of Escape from LA that when they showed the clip of him surfing on the Tonight Show, he like laughed and left the set. He like walked off the set. And people like, that never happened. I brought it up somewhere on YouTube, and people like, that never happened. That's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, God damn, it happened. Yes. And what, 96? I'm sure the interview is probably out there somewhere. I don't remember the worm thing in the brain in Beastmaster. I don't recall something like that happening. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. God, the leather daddy guys. Yeah. That movie is weirdly dark, in just the way it's shot. Dark scenes look a certain way, but fire is really vibrant with the HDR. And bad shit just happens and people are kind of okay with it. There's a kid that gets sacrificed and they're like, well, I guess that happened. And then the guy's like, you know what? The angry god wants another sacrifice. Give me this little girl. Let's make a big fuss out of it. Go into the, I'm going to come up, bring this girl up to me from the crowd over there. Now, when I try to throw her, Dar's going to send the eagle to go rescue her. First kid, screw him. He has a Jufro. Screw the kid. I've tried to look this up. I thought surely that's Ben Savage. Probably too old to be Ben Savage. But anyway, little girl, little blonde girl gets sacrificed. Nope, can't have that. You go rescue her, Eagle. That's the way that kind of goes down. I am liking the liquid death. It's clearing up my early onset diabetes. But yeah, if I do would it be appropriate enough on season to do a pre commentary track? People expect you to do Halloween themed stuff on the Halloween. I do need to watch. There are some Halloween franchise films I have not seen. I think all the ones with, is it Danielle Harris? Is that her name? All of those. The first Rob Zombie one, and Halloween, not H2O, but whatever happened after that with Busta Rhymes. Haven't seen those. And I'm wondering, would you guys want me to watch that stuff? I've heard the one with Paul Rudd is bad. Or that it's not really about Michael Myers anymore, or some shit like that. Um, so maybe I'll just skip to the Busta Rhymes one. To be different review, you could commentary rack Star Trek '09 as well. I do believe I have a commentary on the site for Star Trek '09. I did Star Trek Into Darkness uh, with a co-commentator, Rob, who was the first guy I was uh, coordinating that stuff with, and then I did some with Michael, and we covered like the Star Wars. I think every Star Wars, except for like the whole solo of Star Wars, that stuff. The Indiana Joneses, the Back to the Futures. I was thinking about doing Jaws, but at this point, I'm not sure where it is streaming. It probably left the platform I was looking at it on. It was probably on Netflix and probably not there now. Actually, um, I think they brought all the Jawses back to Netflix like a month or two back, and I even quipped that they didn't they left off Jaws: The Revenge. So the fourth Jaws, the Jaws collection, is not entirely on Netflix. It's probably left since then. It probably left at the beginning of October. The third reboot Trek film sucked. I have not done a commentary track on that one. Into Darkness was bad. And then the next one after that was also really bad. And I forgot the name of it. It has Jeff Bezos in it, if you blink and miss. It was so poorly directed. And I watched that. That was one of the last movies I watched on DVD. My mom actually checked it out from the library on DVD. And I thought, may as well. Star Trek, Sophia Botella, there's a dirt bike ramp. They play who are those, the Jewish rappers? They have a song. I'm trying to remember what that one's called. But yeah, it's between that and Into Darkness, I'm not sure which one's worse. Maybe Into Darkness. But there's some really stupid shit that happens in that one. And they had two alien actresses that looked way too much alike that made the plot unnecessarily confusing. And how you had this one girl In the scene with Jeff Bezos, by the way, there's a girl who like escapes something and she's coming in, she's signaling for help or putting a distress signal, and then they bring her in. But it is done MOS without sound. So you don't even have her voice. You just have like dramatic music and you're kind of deciphering the scene. And then there's a cadet aboard the Enterprise that looks exactly like this broad. And I thought that was her returning from a thing, but they were different. And then the good one got killed, or somebody was sacrificed, or maybe both of them died. It's just like, why go out of your way to make it look this way, right? Why couldn't we've had two very different looking people? I tried to watch Escape from New York, couldn't get into it. I can't blame you. Star Trek with the Beastie Boys, and that is the third one, but what's the name of it? Star Trek Into Darkness, Star Trek Out of the Brink. I don't know. Star Trek Into Danger, or Out Star Trek Into Darkness is the second one, right? Star Trek A World of Desire. I don't know. Um but yes, that one was bad. Escape from New York has problems. I don't know if you can really critique that movie without drawing an ass load of ire on YouTube, but know this, it will be the ire of 47-year-olds. At least the kids won't go looking for that review and bomb you. But that is not an action movie. It looks like an action movie. You would think it was an action movie, but it is a proto action movie yet. I'm convinced, and I actually have written out a script, and I probably should actually shoot it. I probably should have done it tonight, even. Come to think of it, I had a script for like the history of action films and like a big 3-part video thing, but screw it. Too much effort. Probably not going to get views, anyways. I'm convinced that the first action movie is Mad Max 2, or as I like to call it, The Road Warrior. And hot on its heels is First Blood. And that from that point forward, we get the action movie proper, like Commando, Rambo, First Blood Part 2, things that we would certainly describe as an action film. But Escape from New York has odd pacing issues. And if you look on YouTube, you can see the original intro that is just Kurt Russell walking around in a subway for like 25 minutes and then getting arrested. And it sounds more boring than I explained. The movie has dire pacing issues. It has some really good matte paintings. And then if you go and you look and see who did the matte paintings, you're like, oh, okay, that explains why. But it has some interesting concepts, and it seems like a lot of action video games are spawned from the concepts introduced. You have to go in, you have to rescue the president, a guy named Snake sneaking around. It's dark, eye patch, but it's not an action movie. It's a very weird movie to place. It's a John Carpenter film. Like that's almost the best way you can put it in a genre. Even though he gets outside of his comfort zone a lot, it's not an action movie. It damn sure ain't a drama. It's not really a comedy. It's an action movie looking for some action, frankly. Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek What's Next? I mean, don't they want to kind of do another one? Because Chris Pine can't really get work? I don't know. Funny because it didn't go anywhere. Yeah, it kind of doesn't. You're talking about Beyond doesn't go anywhere? Or are you saying Escape from New York doesn't go anywhere? Because Escape from New York ends up somewhere, that's for sure. I I mean, he escapes, but then you realize, oh, the guy you rescued is kind of a douche. But hey, he did what he had to do, right? Right, Pliskin? Okay, we're coming up on, we got about 5 minutes left. Hit, if you're new here, hit up whatever you can. I've got this filtered to all messages, but in the future, once everyone realizes what the jig is, I'm gonna do fan funding only, like a big time streamer with the nice boobs, and everybody's gonna respect my opinion on games and movies, and I'm gonna make a lot of money, and I'm just gonna wear like a cute hoodie and have like a Pikachu hat and all the cool stuff, like all the pros. Beyond doesn't go anywhere. Idris Elba is a marooned Starfleet captain who decides to become an alien and get his revenge on Starfleet. Like that was an option. Oh, we're stuck here. Well, if I become like a mutant alien, that'll really teach them. Have you mentioned your stream on Twitter? Not really. No, my Twitter is dead as shit. Instagram, people might accidentally click on or see something or like an impression of Kamala Harris. But Twitter, the only thing that gets you anything on Twitter is replying to already popular stuff. And you can see that tactic out of all of the OnlyFans accounts. And they actually put in genuine, seemingly genuine replies. Maybe they have AI bots doing this on their behalf, but it'll be like Elon Musk shows off the new Tesla ironing board thing, the thing that looks like an iron, but it's a minivan. And they'll say, that kind of looks like an iron, but I guess, I wouldn't mind going for a ride in it. And then you see the picture, and it looks like she wants to be a cute girl, but she's turning 35. And you know what kind of account it is. And you click on the picture, and there it is. Oh, I only reply in my link below or whatever. See all my links over here, the spicy content. And you know what it is. But that's the game now, is whatever's popular on Twitter, probably an Elon Musk post, just reply to that. Otherwise, no one ever sees you in your feed anymore. You have to go way too far, and it's been this way for about 10 years. You have to go far out of your way to see the feed of the people you follow. Instead, it is OnlyFans accounts and ads and whatever being hawked, or Elon peddling something. Self-promotion is key, dude. It's also pathetic. Self-promotion is also pathetic. I want to say a few things about Elon's latest inventions here. The taxi van thing. It could work. You know what? If you kind of did that like a bus, like we had a robo bus service, a small bus that takes you to your destination, but you're sharing it with a few other people, maybe. That could be a feasible way to cut down some of the burdensome traffic in urban areas. The Tesla 3 looking self-driving taxi car, I don't see that being as popular. I don't see that really working. It just doesn't move numbers in the same way. It really doesn't. Now, the Optimus Android shit. Did he have to make the iRobot Android? Did we have to do that? Did it have to look too much like something that goes crazy and kills people? Did we have to name him after Optimus Prime? Is this to like piggyback off the goodwill of Optimus Prime to get people to think he's a good guy? If we called it Megatron, would that have been more problematic? Right? I can't wait for these things to go Terminator on us. We're asking for it, frankly. And this is a guy who every other week, we have to go to the moon. We have to go to another planet. We have to go to Mars we have to become a spacefaring race or we'll die in darkness. Who's stopping you, dumbass? He's asking these questions over on X as if we're stopping him from blowing his money to go to Mars. Nobody's stopping you. Oh, you trying to get all of our public funding to take you over there, even though you're already too damn rich? How does this operation work? You become a billionaire and then you make an extortion ring so that you can say, hey, Kansas City Chiefs, we're kind of eyeing moving to Kansas City, Kansas, unless you give us a lot of money. Okay, I guess we chose to stay in Kansas City, Missouri. Oh, hey, I'm super rich, but I want to go to Mars. You want to give me some money so I can go? Like, how come you and I aren't funded to just play video games and jerk off all day? Like, how come that doesn't work out the same way? Like, hey, I did want to jerk off in Kansas City, Missouri, but I don't know if I want to take my talents to South Beach or not. Christ. Let's wrap this up before I say something racist. Yep, and I'll see you guys next time, next week. And you better sign up for the membership. Let me know what kind of incentives. I'll probably create some bespoke badges. So it says like every month you get like a new badge showing how long you've been a member. And I think it's $2.99 a month. That was like the best price I could negotiate with YouTube. They're going to take a chunk. The whatever platform you sign up on, if you don't sign up on a basic web browser, is going to take a chunk. It's just like all this shit, even the stuff that pops up in some of my videos, the products. It's like, oh, hey, you sold this, you got a commission of $30, you get 10. It's like, what? Someone gave you a super chat for a awesome video about black people not being able to hear smoke detectors. Gave me $100. I received 45. How does that 45 before taxes? How? Yeah. So you're completely right about the Twitter feed. I'm always right, man. That's kind of my thing around here. People are like, you can't be right. You don't have as many followers as Sticks Hex and Hammer 666. You've got to be wrong and jealous. That's the argument Ben Shapiro uses. Hey guys, so I'm like way more popular than this guy over here, so I must really be right, and he's a complete racist and he's anti-Semite, raging anti-Semite. All right, hey, did you hear about VPN? Jesus, I'm about to get demonetized hard, aren't I? Yeah, correct about. I think Elon secretly shadow banned everyone, and you're absolutely right. I am not a big fan of Elon Musk. I'm becoming not a fan of his. Let's keep this going just a little bit more. Uh, I paid like what, $80 for a year of verified, because one of my goals, I want to get a verified badge. Then I'm a somebody. Then all these struggling actresses I befriended earlier that now they don't get movie roles, but they were in Sucker Punch and whatever stuff. They got verified. They're going to think I'm cool and I'm verified. And then when everybody becomes verified, it is no longer interesting. So now no one's verified. Everybody's like, well, what benefit did we get out of that? Is the fact that Elon says that being verified, paying for premium to get verified, expands your reach, tells you how fixed that system is. That you are paying to expand your reach means everything's fake. That it is not nearly as organic as it used to be. As simply in the halcyon days, like 2009 of Twitter, when you typed in Transformers, Dark of the Moon, the top of the list was the last thing said about that subject, the most recent. Bullshit. Can't be found now. You can type my name and probably not even find my damn account. It's a bunch of garbage. Yeah, so he basically shadow banned everybody until you pay to be unshadow banned. And then when you look into it, they go, well, you're appearing in the feed correctly, as in never. So that's what I know about that. Elon, uh, he does sneaky, convoluted, underhanded shit and he paints it as saving. We're saving the environment by getting the US government to give me money to build a car company. I'm saving free speech. You have to pay to use my platform to free speech now. Free speech that you pay for, right? All right, yeah, let's go. Thanks for dropping by. I do expect to see some. I don't know how I call to action to sign up for the memberships, but there's going to have to be some memberships for me to do this next week. All right. Yeah. And what do I say? Adios, or if you made this far, wait till marriage counseling. Now the tricky part of figuring out how to end the live stream from the computer over here.